G'day. Today we're doing some work on a Mazda Tribute. It's a 2005 model and it's got the LA4AEL transmission. Also in the Fords they call them the CD4Es. And what's happening on this particular unit, there is movement in forward and reverse, but you've got to let the vehicle sit for a little while with the engine off. Now, what I'm suspecting on this one is that it's a blocked filter, and the oil out of the torque converter is draining back down and reverse flushing the filter out until it gets reblocked, and then there's no forward or no reverse. So I've checked the oil level, and the oil condition is very dark, maybe a little bit overfull. The owner probably overfilled it a little bit. But these transmissions don't have a pan, so you can't actually replace the filter on it. You've got to pull the transmission apart, out of the vehicle and apart to get to the filter, which is a great idea. You can see how dark the transmission fluid is. It's not that nice pinky red colour. It's actually black, and there's quite a burnt smell to it. So if I start it up, and we're on the hoist here, if I put it into reverse, there is movement. If I go forward now, you can see that's in drive. It's completely revving, and now if I flick it back into reverse as well, no movement as well. Now if I turn it off, I'll just put it in park and let it sit for a little while, a few minutes. Now I've let it sit for a few minutes, and we'll just start it up, whack it straight into drive, and you can see it's actually pulling forward. So a blocked filter is more than likely the culprit. As soon as I change into reverse, it'll just start slipping again. But it will drive just until that filter gets blocked again. Now here I've got the ATSG manual here, and you can see the line pressure tests you can do there. We're not going to do it because I know it's a blocked filter in this situation, but just for your reference to show how much pressure you should be getting at the port. I'll show you where the ports are for testing the pressures in a moment, but you can just take a note of those line pressure tests there. And here we have the clutch and band application chart. Now on these transmissions you can actually get access to some of the clutches and the band without taking the transmission out. You pop the side cover off and you can have access to it. Unfortunately you have to pull the transmission right out to replace the filter, but sometimes you can do like a partial repair on it, replace a few clutches, possibly the band, solenoid block and the valve body you can do while the transmission is still in the vehicle. And here I've got a copy of the leaflet that you get in the Precision International rebuild kits, and you can see where that's the front of the vehicle. So in Australia here, it's on the passenger side. You can see where the line pressure tap is. The solenoid, to test it, you can actually test it while it's in the vehicle. If you don't have a scanner, you can use an ohm meter on the plug there, and that just shows you which solenoids are which according to those codes there. The SS1, SS2, shift solenoid 1, shift solenoid 2, the torque converter clutch TCC, electronic pressure control solenoid. these solenoids are sold in a block, so you have to replace the whole thing. You can't just replace individual solenoids, but you certainly can test them. And you've got the plug there, the connector, that just shows you which terminals to test while it's in the vehicle, if you want to choose to do it that way. Now here we are on the Sonax site, and it just shows the different ports. You can see where the torque converter is here, so that's showing the engine side, or the front side of the transmission there, where those little ports are. And the other one is on the passenger side here in Australia, probably the driver's side over in Europe and in the States. But you can see which ports. The top one's the front lube port, the clutch turbine pressure, and the converter impeller pressure. And here again you've got the different pressures. On the Sonax site, you can see where the air pressure tests are for all the clutches. If you get the front cover off the transmission, you can actually do a wet air test, they call it, or an air pressure test, just to see if everything's applying properly and not leaking. And if the transmission was in better condition, you probably could just reverse flush the filter here to try and clean it out, and then just drain the oil out of the transmission if you're desperate just to get the transmission going. You'd still need to take the whole valve body off to get access to that part of the filter there. And you can see, to test those pressure ports, you've got to remove quite a bit to get access for your pressure gauge there. The other one, you can access it behind the wheel there, but you still have to take off those plastic covers there to get access to it. Anyway, we're going to contact the owner and just let him know that this one has to actually come out to be able to be repaired. Hope that's helped you explain how these transmissions work a little bit. Thank you for watching.